What is ChatGPT? So ChatGPT, which stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, is basically LLM based model, also known as large language model based chatbot developed by OpenAI, right? So basically, this is the definition given by OpenAI itself, and this is we can say by book itself, right? So it was basically launched on November 30, 22, and this model basically interacts in a conversational way, right? Making it possible to answer any follow-up questions, admits its mistakes, challenges incorrect premises, and reject inappropriate request as well. So this is chat gpt at a high level, and is a sibling model for instruct gpt, which is trained to follow an instruction in a prompt and provide detailed response. It was trained using reinforcement learning and human feedback, which is also known as RLHF, with slight differences in the data collection setup. So the initial model, which was trained using supervised fine tuning, human AI trainers provided conversations in which they played both sides, the user and AI assistant. So this is basically a very bookish kind of thing which I have been telling you, but don't worry about these things. When we are from the second section, when we are getting started to know ChatGPT more and its capabilities in practice basically, while doing taking daily use cases, what we have been seeing. So we'll be discussing all these things, and this all set thing which I have listed over here will come pretty handy over there. So let's say we have this, what I have done here is, out of the box I have curated some of the points which is good to know as a guy who is using chat gpt, because these are its you can think of its capabilities at high level as well. So because this is a language model, so from the term of what is chat gpt, is basically a language model, it's a generative model, it's a transformer architecture based pre-trained fine tuning, and that's what I have curated this point. So if we just briefly look at these points, so a language model is basically a probability distribution over words or sequence of words. It it gives the probability of certain word sequencing, whether it's being valid, and validity in this context does not refer to a grammatical validity. Instead, it means that it resembles how people write, which is what language model learns. That is what it is referred here. And generative model is pretty popular buzzword these days, which is almost everybody is trying to come up with its own, and it's basically a machine learning model that learns to generate new samples similar to the training data they were trained on. So this is what generative model it is, and they capture the underlying distribution of the data and can produce novel instances out of that. And since it is a transformer architecture based, so the transformer architecture follows an encoder and decoder structure. So basically you should know only this much thing, like it follows the encoder and decoder structure. And if you are really interested in knowing the architecture, so you can see this thing online as well, or ask ChatGPT as well, like what is transformer architecture, so it can give you some insight of that. Basically it does not rely on recurrence and convolutions to generate an output. The encoder basically maps an input sequence to a series of continuous representations, out of which decoder receives the encoder's output, and decoder's output at previous timestamp. So this is how at the high level it works. And the pre-trained thing is a model created by someone else to solve the similar problem, and instead of building the model from scratch to solve the similar problem which is again happening, you can just use this trained models. That's like a design pattern from software practice, if you can think of. And fine tuning is like is a machine learning technique that involves making targeted adjustments to a pre-trained model in order to improve its performance on a specific task, right? So this is pretty important. And human-like responses is something which makes this chat gpt a different bot than other bots, because it has capabilities. Because of that, it has trained on such a vast amount of data, so it can mimic human responses to aid in extensive and rapid human behavior studies. So this is its power, which shines immensely. And the limitations wise, like obviously lack of emotions, intelligent quotient kind of thing, because this is what human differs from machine, right? So machine don't have any emotions, so that is what its limitations basically. And AI safety wise is like an interdisciplinary field concerned with preventing accidents and misuse of AI. in order to harm someone, right? So that is what AI safety means. And ethical concerns, obviously it's finely connected with AI safety as well, wherein ethical concerns in AI include issues like data responsibility and privacy, fairness, explainability, robustness, transparency, environmental sustainability. You can think of like these factors as part of ethical concerns. Then we also have this API access in case if you are coming from a software background, so you can certainly use this and integrate into your chat GPT and its own applications, right? So this is what API access means, right? And continuous improvement is like OpenAI continuously improves its models like chat GPT based on user feedback and advancements in AI research, basically, right? So this is the high level of what is chat GPT, right? So but let's say you don't need to, so in this particular section, the first section mostly will be talking about chat GPT and its capabilities and how it can be used in different applications and what are the things. Most of the things is going to be theoretical thing, but the factor is like from second section onwards and from second section itself, right? So it is going to be completely experimental editions, like will be almost all the time will be on ChatGPT UI itself, and there will be experimenting with different prompts and all the other stuffs which we can think of, like and so let's get started with its the capabilities part in the next video.